lately I'm feeling emotions. I promise I'm not off that potion. To all of my friends I've been ghosting, love you, but I haven't chosen. Like, a lot of people thought I said a bad word
Well,
for
what?
whatever reason.
What
They
word?
thought I said what did they thought I said? They thought I said that they thought I said shit. Like
And
they thought I
what
said
word?
potion. They
Potion.
thought I said I was they're like, I'm not of
There's
that
multiple
BS.
syllables in potion.
No, I was just like, okay, I don't know. Okay, cool. And I'm like, all right, y'all got it. And
Okay.
but yeah, like just even that course within itself is like you're acknowledging the fact of, you've been feeling these type of feelings, but it's not because you've been basking yourself in alcohol and substances. It's the fact of you're actually allowing yourself to feel
Hmm.
what it is you're feeling. And it's no hard feelings to the people that love you, but you're literally having your Elijah moment.
And folks used to clown her music. And now she is part of the Rapzilla freshman class of 2021. In this episode of Testimony, a Musician Story, Puerto Rican rapper, singer, songwriter Jekasole shares her Christian testimony. Jekasole discusses the hard decision she made to leave relationships and her home church to follow God's calling on her life. She speaks candidly about losing her dear friend and fellow CHH artist, Prof. Biz. Jeka also talks about praying for people on Instagram Live. Additionally, she breaks down Lolo, featuring Just Call Me DT, In Love featuring Scooty Wop, Separation Anxiety, and Time for Real featuring Cam and Red Tips in the 4-song breakdown. I am Galika Brown, and this is Sound Seekers Presents Testimony, a Musician Story.
I am Jekasole, and this is my testimony.
So let's start with your first music memory, whether it be a song, a video you heard, a performance.
My own personal music memory, my first music memory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think for the most part, it was my first time performing or ministering at a youth conference at my home church. Initially, like I had the biggest like fear of stage fright,
Mm-hmm.
and me and my brother, like I wouldn't perform without my brother.
Oh.
So it was like he was the one who like would perform me whenever we went to like different events, but it was my first time going to this youth event, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna do some. So it was really really dope. It was actually back in 2012 where we went ahead and we did that.
2012. Okay. Um, we'll come back more to the music, but okay.
Okay.
Well, you had your brother there. So, where were you born and raised?
So I'm born and raised in 305 Miami, Florida, Dade County. You feel me?
Yes.
I got a
I don't
Southfield
know
baby
why,
in the
like
house.
the women I talk to seem to be so turned up for where they're from. Like
You
Porcelain is
got
all
to.
about East Side. Aaron Knight's all about Atlanta. Like everyone else, all the guys are just from. Yeah, I'm from Miami. Mm.
Yeah, I'm
It's
from
just
here.
Bay
Nah,
Area,
man.
like Miles and Mark Stevens. It's Bay Area all day. But
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
other than that, everyone else is just like, yeah, I'm from here.
nah. It's a sense of a pride for me because I'm just like, one, everybody's always talking about going to vacation in Miami whenever they're trying to go somewhere. Me personally, it's just where I've always known my whole life. So it's just more so like I'm just proud. I'm proud of my city. Granted, we they don't make the best choices sometimes, but it's okay. Like I'm still proud of being native.
Okay. And did you grow up in a two-parent household?
So I did not. I was actually, what is it? My parents split or divorced when I was about 12.
Hmm.
So moving forward, I was just in two different households.
Okay. Um,
hmm
so initially you did grow up in a two-parent household then.
Initially, I did, and then at the age of 12, kind of just diverted in just single parent household.
And you mentioned your brother. Do you have any other siblings?
So I have a younger brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, in terms of, because you're, you were old enough and cognitive to kind of understand what was happening. So, how did the divorce like affect your life or your lifestyle at that time?
At least for me, it was really hard because it was like I felt that with everything going on, like I had to be the the rock for
Mm,
everybody, you know, from my mom, from my siblings, like they were a lot younger than I was. So I mean, for the most part, they didn't really know too much or
mm,
understand too much. Um, so it was just more so like I just took on a burden that I should have never taken on at a very early age. And I basically kind of just allowed that to basically push me to force myself to grow up.
mm,
Like growing up, I was never your average like teenager or a young adult. For the most reasons, I was always thinking about my future, how I want to manage my money, what goals I have set for myself.
mm,
Um, yeah, so it was very different, but at the same time, it's because like I would see what my mom was doing, and I'm just like, yeah, it's like I need to start thinking about this now. And it's like I said, at least for me, I get around younger or just within the same age, and it's like their situation isn't my situation, and they're just like, "Why are you thinking so deep? Like, relax, like
mm.
enjoy life." This, that, and the third. I was like, "What are you talking about?" But
And,
that's more or less. That's how it kind of just affected. Where it's like I felt like I had to basically force myself to grow up so that I could help take care of everybody.
okay. And was it a Christian household?
So it was a divided household. So my mom, um, basically, when I was born, she was a converted Christian, and then my dad was born, and well, not born, but he was raised as a Catholic.
Okay.
And for the most part, it was like growing up, it was more so just we didn't infuse too much of religion. It was just more so we'd go to church on Easter and Mother's Day, and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so that was basically more or less. We went to a what is it? We never more so went to uh, Catholic churches, but it was more so like we went to like non-denominational. But for the most part, like there were just different things that I did learn as far as like when it came to like Catholicism from my dad and stuff.
Well, so when did it like connect for you? When did you personally feel a connection towards Christ?
So believe it or not, it was in the midst of everything going on with my dad leaving, me feeling like it was my fault, and then me trying to bargain with God. Basically, it's like I'll
Okay.
do this if you do that.
Yeah.
And it was more so at I think I was in my freshman year of college where I just felt lost. And I remember putting something on Facebook where I was like, I just feel lost.
Hmm.
And I had one of the girls from my church, my youth group, kind of just reach out to me. And she was like, what's wrong? Do you need somebody to talk to? Mind you, I've known her all my life, but we never really spoke like that.
Mm.
And she came and invited me to like services. And then eventually she invited me to the youth conference that we had. Um, and at that very moment, I was like, God, I was like, I don't want to feel angry. I don't want to feel less than like if you are real, you'll take this feeling away
Yeah.
and give me peace. And most definitely that's exactly what it did. Granted, I did have my doubts afterwards where I was just like, maybe it's too good to be true. But it came more with the discipline where it was like after I had that encounter, I literally saw it. I was like, I need this. I need my community. I need to be involved. I need to read. I need to learn because that's what's making me feel connected to you. And that's what I want. That's what I need
Hmm.
because I feel a way where I've never felt in a very long time. And, little by little, like certain habits I started breaking. And me and my dad actually have a really great relationship now. And even with my stepmom, because both my parents got remarried too.
Mm.
So it's like it was most definitely uh not the easiest transition, but at the same time it was more so like that's how I was able to know that God was really evident in my life, because it was like I couldn't explain. I was like, I'm not even mad anymore. I just want peace in my life.
Yeah.
And whatever it is you want me to do, God, I'm gonna do it. And that's it.
Well, ask and you shall receive. You ask for peace and you got it.
Amen.
So, what was it, do you think, about that experience that at the youth conference that made you, kind of surrender there?
At least for me, it was more so I literally just had a moment with God. I was like, I don't want to be an angry child. I don't want to feel like I'm putting blame on everybody else and making everybody else carry like a burden. Um, and I was like, I just want to feel love. I just want to feel appreciated. I just want to feel like I have somebody with me no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And God is an omnipresent God. So it's just like it was just different. Like the conversations we started having after, like me and God, it was just different. The respect I started having for him was just different.
Yeah.
Um, Certain conversations I would engage in, and certain topics of conversation where I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna waste my time because there's people here that don't understand that. They don't want to open up to that. So let me just walk away. But I knew that God had something for me, and I was just like, God, I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
And that's all I want, just to continue to move forward with you.
And so this is your freshman year of college.
My
And
freshman year of college,
how was the journey like the rest of, your years there?
it was hard because, granted, I had my community, but a lot of the youth that was in the church were a lot younger than I was.
Mm-hmm.
So my friends that I had in school were either um they believed in God, but it wasn't they were not soughting after him.
Mm.
So it was just different. So it was like getting invited to parties, saying no to them.
Yeah.
Going out with my friends, and they're like, oh, like we're gonna go do this and do that, and I'm just like, no, I'm good. And just having to deal with like, bro, like you're young, like you only live once, this, that, and the third, like enjoy it. I'm
YOLO.
just like, yo, I'm like, I'm good, I'm straight, this, that, and the third, because at least for me, like this is just me personally. When I was a lot younger and I was in high school, there was such an excitement about breaking the rules. It was like the rush. It was like the thrill. It's like, okay, like if I want to go out and go to a party with my friends and, not say anything and, sneak out or whatever, like it was just the thrill of it.
Yeah.
And it's like as I got older, I was like, bro, that's not even cool. Like there are kids dying every day because they don't tell their parents where they are, or
Mm-hmm.
they're in places where they shouldn't be. And it just that, and then on top of that, it's just like there are people who can control their alcohol and there are people who cannot, and they take it to that extra step and mix it with other things. And it's just like putting yourself in that situation where it's like people don't look out for you. People will let you basically pass out to your unconscious and leave you there.
Yeah.
Never happened to me,
Yeah.
but I'd hear stories and I'm just like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And like I said, never making anybody feel bad about their decisions, but it's just more so like that's you, but this is me. And the same way I'm gonna respect you, I need you to respect me.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was. So it was a lot of that. So like just a lot of my friends like on my case. Oh, you never want to come out with us. You never want to do this. You always want to be in church. You always want to do this. You always want to do that. I said, bro, why don't you? come by the church one day, like come to the event or whatever. And never wanted to go. So I was like, I mean, if you want to see while I'm always here, like
Yeah.
just pull up.
Yeah.
But that was basically mainly what it was. And then just learning how to be myself and not making people feel uncomfortable without
Mm.
diminishing my morals and my values. Cause you got some people that's like, yo, bro, you're just too highly spiritual for me. I need you to like step away, this, that, and the third. Like, we don't need that energy. And I'm just like, bro, like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your life, but you most definitely gonna feel how I live my life.
Yeah.
So it was basically coming to copes with that like, if I made some people feel uncomfortable, it wasn't for me to get down and make them comfortable. It was like, it is what it is. And if you like it, cool. And if you don't, like, it's cool too. Like, I'm not gonna force myself on you, but this is who I am.
No, that's
So
cool.
it was just a lot of that, basically.
I mean, that's definitely challenging. Not only are you in college, in a college setting where everyone's trying to wild out and just have a good time, but you're also, did you go to school in Miami?
So I did. So I started off at Miami-Dade College once I graduated high school. Um, from Miami-Dade College, I ended up transitioning to FIU. And FIU is actually where I had my real like college experience. I lived on campus. I got involved. Um, I won't lie, I did make some very bad decisions while I was in school too.
Okay.
Um, but at the same time, it was just more so like understanding afterwards was like because I felt like I was missing out on something.
Yeah.
And moving forward, it was just like it was super challenging because when I didn't have no friends when I started FIU, like all my friends kind of graduated FIU already. Um, for the most part. So when I got there, it was like I was in a brand new environment. Um, like like I said, I had no friends. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm gonna get involved. I became a mentor for the incoming students.
Okay.
So whether they were transfer, whether they were freshmen, like that's what I did. But I was with a team of people. Like it was 40 of us, all
Okay.
different ages. I was the eldest one in the group.
Mhm.
Okay. um Everybody else was like in their early like 17, 18.
Oh, wow. So they're still teens.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, I was like, what? And I'm here. I think at that time I was 23 or 24. I'm 28 now.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. But yeah, so like when I was there, it was just like listening to how they think, listening to like where their minds are, and I'm just like, guys are okay. I was like, you're for a very rude awakening if you think this is what life is about.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, it was different. So when I got there, it was like I didn't know where to fit in. They had a talent show, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sign up for the talent show. And I signed up for the talent show. I went, I performed, and I remember getting a text from my brother, and he was like, because all I ever performed at were churches,
Mm.
and this was my first time like putting myself in a crowd that they're they're not all Christians. They're not all, they're like, yeah, like they can literally boo me
Yeah.
right now. But I was like, I'm gonna go do my thing. And I did it. And he was like, it's like at the end of the day, remember who you do it for. Like you may not get the applause, is that and the third, but remember who you do it for. And I was like, okay. This is before I got the job as a mentor. I ended up meeting my group. And as an icebreaker, we spent like 7 hours in a circle.
Oh, wow.
Like
That's an extreme
talking with,
icebreaker.
bro, it's because we had to say like our name, bring a sentiment item, and then explain why it mattered so much to us. So
Okay.
some people got real deep.
Yeah.
And basically like moving forward, it was just more so like I went and I was like, hey, my name's Jeka, this, that, and the third. This is what I do. This is my sentimental item. And I also like I put out a project at at the ending of last year. Check it out whenever you can.
Yeah.
And it only took one girl to listen to get 39 other people to listen.
Okay.
And granted, this is like before I transitioned to the music I do now. This is when it was very much upfront in your face, like God, Jesus, and every other word, every other line, like just I was a super
He was
Satan
on
at that
fire.
point.
Yeah, yeah.
I was on fire. So they listened to it, and I'm just like, yo, the song that was their favorite was the song that it was no denying that I was talking about God. Like
Mhm.
none of that. And that was their favorite song. Like they sang it all the time.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, God, like, okay, I see what you're doing. And they became like my biggest supporters at school.
Mhm.
And I felt like I was like, damn, like I'm naturally myself. I'm not coming down to their level in the sense of where it's like I feel like I gotta belittle myself, but I am meeting them where they're at, but not putting myself down from what I believe and what I stand for.
Yeah.
And they rock with it. And I was like, I wish I would have had this mentality when I started college. Um, but moving forward, it was most definitely a challenge. But when I got to FIU, it was most definitely different. Um, I made some friends, some of those friends that I still talk to today. And they're very still much supportive of my music. Um, like one of them hit me up the other day. It's like I was on Apple Music and you popped up out of nowhere, and I'm like, yo, that's dope. And just like they know, like, hey, bro, like Jeka, she love God, man. That's it. Like that's all it is. Like
Yeah.
you gotta come correct when you talk to her. Like that's it. And even with other people that they don't know how to approach me, I didn't even have to speak for myself anymore. It was like
Mhm.
they speak for me. Like, yo, Jeka don't play that. Just fair warning, she don't play that. So come correct. And then it was just different. I never had that, you
Yeah.
know, at least in a setting that wasn't at church.
Yeah. That's so
So
it's also interesting because there seems to be like a connection. Well, not seems to be, I think it's pretty clear. Where there are certain times in our life where people might get stripped from it. Like you said, your friends left your college and then you end up going to a new school and it's a totally new setting. But that's where you really were able to mature and develop and gain people who understood you and were more like-minded. And I know other people I've talked to have had similar phases, and I've definitely have had a phase like that where it's almost like literally just strips you of everything and everyone, and it's just you and him, and then he starts bringing people into the fold.
oh, that's exactly how I felt, because I was like, God, I didn't know nobody.
Yeah.
Like everybody that's my friend here is like at most maybe like 5 years younger than I am.
Mm-hmm.
At most maybe like six.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, dang. But it was also like a different sign of respect they had for me too. Cause I was like, look, I was like, I know what it feels like to work a full-time job and go to school.
Yeah.
So, and then pay bills. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if any of y'all know what that feel like, but I know what it feel like. So, and it did make me more aware to kind of how to approach people who are younger than I am, because just like 9 out of 10, we come into the fold of thinking like, oh my God, how am I going to approach them? Because their minds may not be as mature. How am I going to speak to them? And then they're also thinking too, like, dang, how am I going to speak to this person? Because they're going to think I don't know so much.
Mm-hmm.
But we was really able to learn from each other. And I thought that was really dope. And even now, like, it helps me with my job now. Like, majority of my coworkers, if they're not older than me, a lot of the younger staff, like, they're still shocked every time I tell them how old I am. They're like, oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm like, yeah, Lord, we had an agreement. As I get older, keeps me looking younger, and that's it. That's just what it is, and we're gonna keep it moving.
I guess we got that same agreement too then, because everyone's shocked when I say my age. So,
Was it? I was like, I'm about to ask. I don't know if you want to tell me though.
okay, go ahead.
I was
I
like,
am.
how old you?
I'm exactly a decade older than you.
No.
I am.
Nope. Nope. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Uh.
Something about that
What?
melanin.
I'm. Listen. All I know is that the same agreement you got with God, I got it too. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't
No,
actually
but you
give
look
my life.
good.
Yeah, thank you.
Real good.
Thank you. But yeah, I didn't actually give my life to Christ until I was 30. So all the mistakes you said you made, I did all the way through my 20s. So
Even when I gave my life, I was
yeah,
still
still,
making
it's
mistakes.
not like I ain't making no mistakes now. Definitely, let's not.
Bruh. I got baptized and everything, and I'm like, oh, God, I'm sorry. Just fresh out the water, I'm like, sorry. But like I said, like that's just me. Like I try to let people know. 'Cause at the end of the day, people have this fictitious thing in their mind where it's like once you accept God, that's it. You're not supposed to trip
Mm-mm.
up. You're not supposed to be, easily tempted, anything
Yeah,
like that. I was like, bro, what? I was like, Jesus was the holiest man ever. And the devil still tried to tempt him.
yeah. Nah, it only gets harder. I feel like there's like more that's thrown at you as soon as you're like, all right, Lord, I give my life to you. It's like everything gets thrown at you. You're like, ah.
Bro, everything. You got all your bad habits, your friends, the exes that pop up, all these things that you're just
Yes,
like, get behind me, Satan. Just go
yes.
behind me. But that's facts though, because it's just like I said, people have this thing, and one of the things that pushed me through school was more so like, and even now, it's just I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just have a different remedy of how I deal with certain things,
Yeah.
and I'm not judging or belittling anybody how they deal with their stuff. But it's like when you ready to try something different, call me. We'll pray, we'll fast, we'll do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Um, Granted, like that's even for me sometimes too. Like I tend to fall in a place where like if I need some help or whatever, like I just be not trying to bother nobody, but very much grateful for the people, like the small circle of people that God has placed in my life where they keep me on my toes. And it's
Hmm.
like, hey bro, like how's your spiritual life? How's your prayer life? Like what can I do to help you? I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I never had no friends like that. Okay. I was that friend.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So to
that's God. He'll
to
bring the
be in a
village
space
king.
now.
Hmm.
Exactly. So it's just like I heard a sermon the other day where it was like when what is it? Like Jesus naturally draws out people.
Hmm.
So it's like when you got God living inside of you and you're showing it, you're reflecting it, people are naturally gonna be drawn to you.
Hmm.
Why? Because they're drawn to him.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute and I was just like, dang bro, I was like, that's the truth. But it's just having that discernment to be like, this from God, this ain't from God. And I'll be honest, I still struggle with that too, because I just be like, God, is this really you?
Yeah.
Am I tripping? Like just let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take it, but let me know. And it's just having those real moments where it's just like you're able to really analyze, like, okay, God, like I need you. And I heard a similar sermon where it was like our main purpose in life, God doesn't expect us to do anything for him.
Hmm.
He don't need it. And that was my thing. I was like, I gotta do this for God. And this and third is like, God don't need me to do anything but to be with him.
Yeah.
That is it. And I'm just like, all right, I just gotta do better at that. The same way I make time to be with my friends, I need to make time to be with God. And it doesn't always have to look the same, because that's another thing. People are like, oh, how much do you pray? How much do you fast? How much do you, and it's like everybody has their different aspects of how they spend time with God.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like you'll know because you'll see it by the fruits. So it's just
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
you don't got to tell me what you do. You don't got to tell me this, that, and the third. But I'll see God when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, he talks to us all differently. Our relationships are different with him. I don't, fasting is not for me. I love food. I I like to eat.
He's
So
like, God, I'm sorry. I'll give you everything else.
fasting is where I struggle. So
No,
like, I mean, but
sis,
there's I
me
spent
too.
exactly, see. So it's not everybody's way of spending time with him is going to be different, and that is perfectly fine. Cool.
Like, I love
So
food.
the
I can't.
university that you work at, is that the university you graduated from?
So no, the
Oh,
university I work at. is I live in Orlando now.
Okay.
So Orlando's about 4 hours away from Miami.
Okay.
So when I graduated, I basically kind of just went on a hunt looking for a job, but my family had moved up here.
Okay.
So that's why I came up this way, but I was still looking for work. I actually got several positions offered to me at my previous institution that I graduated from, but if you ever looked at the cost of living in Miami, sis, it ain't it.
I'm sure. I am
It
sure.
ain't
I
it.
know.
So I was like, I already went through the phase of having roommates. I already went through the phase of sharing my bathroom. I was like, I'm over it. I'm
Yeah.
good. But everywhere that was actually able for me to afford with the money I was making it was like super far,
Yeah.
like hella far. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, no. So I basically this job alone, like I really got this job stepping out on faith, to be honest. And the reason why I say that is because I had 2 job offers from my previous institution. And then with this job offer, I didn't even have an offer. I had an interview.
Oh. Okay.
After my interview, it was like, we'll let you know, we'll give you a call. And I'm like, I never heard anything. And I'm like, I'm getting calls from this other person. Like, God, let me know, like, what do you want from me? And literally I prayed about it and I was like, I fasted too. I was like, God, I was like, I just need you to talk to me.
Yeah.
Do you want me here? Or do you want me to go back over there? And I was like, whatever you want, I'll do it. And for some reason, I just felt strongly where it was like, I want you to stay here. Mind you, I didn't have no offer here. But he's like, I want you to stay here.
Okay.
And I'm like, but God, I was like, there ain't no money in front of my face here. Like, okay, like the bag is not in front of my face right now. And literally what came to mind was like, how long have you been without employment where your bills have still been paid for? And I'm like, all right, God, you win.
Yeah.
We'll go. Granted, the people that went ahead and pulled the strings for me to try to get the job weren't too happy at first. But
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I feel in
Yeah.
my heart, that this is what I'm supposed to do. Literally, maybe like 2 weeks later, I get a call from UCF like, hey, sorry about the delay. It was the hiring process, this, that, and the third. It was on a freeze and we had to wait for it. We want you to start this day. And I'm like, okay, okay, God. What else? What else we got? Can I play the lotto? Let me know the winning numbers.
What number should I play? Okay.
Let me know, God. I was like, well, I give you the 10% and more. Okay, 10% and more. But I went there, and crazy enough, is literally half of my staff. I can't make this up. Half of my staff are active, firm Christian believers,
Okay.
and they are so supportive of what I do in my ministry.
Yeah.
Like, they're always asking me when I got new music coming out, when I got new videos coming out, when I got another concert coming. Like, they're always asking me about that stuff. And then like with people, I don't share with people like what I do outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
But my bosses would be like, do you know that, she does this, she does that, she does this. And I was like, just put my head down, like, yeah, I do that. And they're like, bro, like, tell them what you do. And I'm just like, I was like, this is kind of like soliciting, ain't it? Like,
Yeah.
I'm advertising myself at another, and then they just start laughing. They're like, we don't care about that. Like, this is what you do. He's like, everybody's got a side hustle here. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So,
Right.
so I think that's pretty cool because I've never had that in my work atmosphere. It was always either me and one other person or just me.
Yeah.
And to be in an environment where it's like we can have these conversations and it's not awkward. I'm just like, yo, God, this is dope. It's not all the money in the world,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it is grooming me in a way where I'm like, what's next?
I mean, that is though, because not too many people, not too many, the majority of people can't go to work and talk about God. So,
That was my last job. That's what I was like. And then I had a job where I worked for Jewish people. So it was just like we had very different point of views and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So I mean, granted that I was still respectful, but at the same time it was just like different. Like I
yeah,
remember telling them about my music and they're just like, okay, like, congrats, but never actually wanting to listen.
yeah.
On my interview, I told my boss that I wrote music. He said, yeah, okay. He looked me up himself. I was like, how did he find me? And he looked it up and he like found my uh music, and this was before I put any of my newer stuff out. And he was like, I listened to your stuff. You're pretty good. I'll listen to you. And I'm just like, oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Like, thank you. Like I said, it was a different feeling.
yeah.
So
That's dope, man. Well, congrats on having a job like that and being in an atmosphere like that. It's definitely God. All right. So, I did see recently that you did lose someone near and dear to you. Um, I'm not familiar with him at all. So, would you mind just sharing about that in your relationship and the effect?
so I'm a part of a collective called the Hilltop Society.
Okay.
Um, and basically, we're basically just founded upon the Bible verse in Matthew says, "We are a light upon a hill." And basically, from there, it was actually 2 years ago. We went to Atlanta. This is my first time ever going to Atlanta. And this is a crazy story in itself because I'm telling you, it was I was on some crazy faith. I just put it just like that. Um, it was me, Biz, just call me DT, A Lewis, Illish. Um, like we all kind of just like came together. This was before we went to Atlanta. I remember performing at this event in Miami before I moved
Okay.
up here. We were friends on social media, but we've never personally met each other. One day, he texted me and he was like, yo, we're going to perform up there in Orlando. This, then third, it'd be really dope if you came out. And I'm just like, you know what? It's like, that'd be really dope, but I didn't have a way to get there. So I was like, hey, I don't have a way to get there. But, if I find a way, like, I'll get there. He's like, yo, send me the address and, like, we'll all just pick you up. So it was him, BT, and A. Lewis. And I'm like, okay, bet. Give him the address. After I give him the address, I'm like, God, I don't even know these people. I just gave them my address. And whatever, like they came to the house, they picked me up, and it was literally like I've known them for my whole life.
Mm,
Like it was just God. I was just like, it didn't feel unfamiliar. It just was like, this is a new face.
yeah.
That is all.
Yeah.
But we went to the event. It was super dope. A few months later, yeah, because the event was in August, and then we went to Atlanta in October.
Okay.
And they were like, yo, we're going to go to this event that they're having called A3C that Rapzilla's hosting. Granted, I'm very new to the CHH scene at the time. I'm like, I don't know what it is to be, quote unquote, like this is the wave, this is the trend. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who was who. Like, to me, everybody's just people
Yeah.
and that we love God. That's it. Um, so we were all talking about it. I was like, you know what? God, I prayed about it. I was like, God, I want to go on this trip, but I know if I tell my mom, she's going to tell me no. So I was like, God, I'm going to do something, but I was like, only if you don't give me no conviction in my heart about it.
Yeah.
I literally left to Georgia with these people that I just met. And once my mom found out where I was already in Georgia.
Yeah.
And we fellowship, we talked, we networked, and we all just came together and we're like, yo, like, we all have the same vision, the same dream. We are still our own individual artists, but all we do is put our resources together to push each other.
Mm.
And Biz was literally like, that man was really like a really big part of the foundation. He's who held us accountable. you know, and for him it was never say try, always do.
Mm.
When we would say, "Oh, I'm gonna try," it's like, bro, what? Mm-mm. Like, I don't know that word. It's I'm gonna do. And like he kept us accountable. It was like whether it was deadlines, whether it's making sure that we were following whatever it is that we said we were gonna do. He was the type of person, like when your friends like, oh, let's get together, da 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 da. He'll be like, set a date. That's it. Just set a date. And I'm just like, what? And he was just, oh, in all honesty, he was just super, super genuine soul. My brother, super caring, loved God. Like this man, like if God could have like let me gotten closer to anybody, I'm so happy that he allowed me to get as close as I did to him, because I also feel like he was one of the closest like things or people, more or less, because people are not things. He was one of the closest people that I was able to have in my life, that it really felt like this is how God loves us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we would be able to have disagreements. We'd be able to not see eye to eye, but it never left with anger, animosity. It was always love.
Yeah.
Like that whole correcting your brother in love was business love language.
Okay.
And it was just sudden. And I literally just, it caught all of us by surprise for the most part. Um, he's got 2 daughters, wife.
Mm.
And all really Biz ever wanted to do was just to love on people. Like he didn't care about status. He didn't care about, who you made songs with, this, that, and the third. It was just like, yo, we a part of the body.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. We're gonna keep pushing forward the kingdom. And he always had this thing where, granted, I'm the only female in my collective. So my brothers are very supportive when it comes to like pushing me just as a woman in general, woman of color, and then also like a woman in the space.
Yeah.
So it's just like they have this thing where they'll be like, yo, Jeka, you are a star. And I'm just like, together we are all a constellation.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I see it. Like I'm not a star by myself. Um, Granted, like everybody's light may shine brighter than others, but at the end of the day, like this is how I feel. Like we are a constellation together. And Biz was most definitely one of our brightest stars.
Mm.
I'll tell you that for free. He was most definitely one of our brightest stars. And I don't think he knew the impact he really had on people. Like being able to see everybody talk about him and just the little conversations they were able to have with him. I was like, yo, we were spoiled. Like
Yeah.
we got to go on vacation with this man. We got to, talk to him, pick his brain, like call him whenever we want to. You feel me? Like people can text you and stuff like that, but it's like not everybody has access to you. But
Yeah.
with Biz, it was like, yo, like you need prayer, you need this. Like he was really a servant. Like really a servant. Like he paid attention to detail. He paid attention to the small things, and like I said, he was really our brightest star. But I know for the most part, like he would want us to continue to push,
Yeah.
not stop on his watch, but even more like push, because at the end of the day, just because he's no longer physically with us is like doesn't mean he's not with us at all. In the moments where we feel the lowest, is like thinking about it, it's like, it's not only what would God do, it's like what would Ben say right now?
Yeah.
How would he approach the situation? And that's honestly what's been keeping me going through it. I won't lie to you. Last week was a very tough week. We made it public to everybody this weekend, but we found out the day it happened. And like going to work the next day, like my job, the way it's set up is like there's certain days within the year, like the months of the year, that I can't take off.
Okay.
Um, and that was one of those weeks.
Um,
And I'm just like, I woke up the next morning, I'm like, God, I don't want to go to work. I just want to stay here and just mourn my friend.
yeah.
But at the same time, like I heard him in my head, like, I'm still here. Do what you gotta do. Like, I'm still here. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And I went to work, pressed through work, and then this weekend when it became real for everybody to know about it, it was a lot of mixed emotions. The memorials this week, so I'll be taking a trip to Miami just to go ahead and pay my respects to him, his family. So, I mean, for the most part, it was different for me because I've never lost. Well, I haven't lost someone this close to me in a very long time.
Yeah.
And then the fact of it being like had nothing to do with gang violence, it had nothing to do with drugs, it had nothing to do with car accidents or like, freak accidents, basically. But at the same time, it was just like he was just okay, you know, like he was just okay, and then it just really made me realize like you gotta really tell the people you love and you care about every day, like, hey, bro, I love you, I appreciate you, because that's one thing I said to myself. I feel like I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, it's like if anything, it was a wake up call. Like check up on your people, check up on the people that God puts on your heart, even if they don't check up on you.
Yeah.
And that's the type of person Biz was. It was like, even though probably not as much as half the people he checked on probably checked up on him, it was like if God put you on his heart, what he was gonna do. Man was a very obedient man.
Yeah.
Like, bruh. I was like, how do you do it? And he was like, man, it's simple. And I'm just like, how? But he just has so much wisdom and he wasn't afraid. And whenever he did share his wisdom, he didn't belittle you. Like he didn't make you feel less than. So that's why I said, I was like, that's that real definition of correcting somebody in love. Cause it's like, dang, you know what? You're right. And it's not even that you mad anymore. You just like, thank you, God, for this revelation.
Wow. Well, he definitely had a profound impact on you. I mean, that was beautiful the way that you described him. And
He directed Lolo. That's the crazy
oh,
part.
really? He did?
Yeah, he was the assistant director on Lolo. And crazy enough, when I met Biz, he was just learning how to film, learning how to edit, learning how to do these things. And we were able to do that. Like he was helping direct, put us in our spots, this, that, and the third. So I'm happy that I at least have that where I can have it forever. Um, but this man was a man of many talents. Like he would record himself, he would film hit not only himself but other people, and then teach himself how to edit. He was very big on like rollouts, like being prepared with content. Like he just, bro, this man was literally just so knowledgeable, and that's all he wanted to do was share the wealth of his knowledge with people.
Yeah.
So, and anybody in the industry would tell you it's not really like that. Somehow, some way, you do get your certain gems where you got people in the mainstream and then you got people within CHH that's like, yo, let me help you. Like, let me give you some game. And then you got other people that's like, nah, bro, the same way I figured it out, figure it out.
Yeah.
So
it's sad though, because it seems like those who give the most, they usually seem to be the ones who get taken away early.
most definitely.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, bro, what? I was like, that didn't make no sense to me. But at the same time, I was like, the only peace I had in my heart was like, I know where he is.
Yeah.
Like, and I told God that I was like, only reason why I'm not yelling at you right now is because I know where he is. Only thing I'm gonna tell you is thank you for letting me borrow him, because I forget that he's not, like, we're not here forever. So that was basically it. And like this weekend, it'll be nice to see everybody. Mind you, we haven't seen all of us together in a group since March.
Okay.
So it was real heavy, with COVID and all that stuff going on, girl. Like I said, my city don't make the best decisions, but I still love them though. Their COVID cases be through the roof.
Yeah.
So, So that's why I'm like, I respect them. They want to stay down there and I want to stay up here. I'm like, it's cool. Like, I'll go to Atlanta, come back. I will not go to Florida. Y'all don't know how to act out there. But
so, I mean, you also are involved in other people's lives and are impactful in their lives as well. And even on IG, you be praying for people.
yeah.
Let's talk about that. Like, where did that even come about? Like, who prays for people on IG? I thought IG was it was more about showing off
To show
stuff.
what you got. Yeah, show what you
Exactly.
got. Hashtag big God flex.
Exactly.
No. Honestly, it started when I moved up here, where it was like I didn't have a community. I didn't have a church anymore. Like I just felt out of place.
Mm.
And I was like, God, I wanna I still wanna be connected to people who wanna be connected to you. Um and it was literally like I just started going on IG and I was like, what? It's like today, we're gonna read the Bible. I got a Bible verse, we could talk about it. Then afterwards I was like, I'm gonna pray. And it started off where it was like I did it every day.
Okay.
Every single day. And I was like, yo, this is dope. I'd have people come on there that like I would have never guessed to come on there. Like I had some of my friends that at the time, like they're atheists.
Okay.
And they were just like, yo, like they would sit there for the prayer, ask for the prayer. And I'm just like, yo, it's like I'm not gonna judge you, but I know God is doing something.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I looked at it. I was like, you know what? It's like I'm gonna just be obedient. I'm gonna be that vessel. But I'm not gonna lie. I did it actively for maybe like a whole month
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't do it no more.
And why is that?
I felt burnt out.
Oh yeah.
I was doing it Monday through Sunday.
Oh wow. Of
I was
course,
doing Monday
super
through
burnt out.
Sunday. I
Yeah.
was like, God, I can't do this. And it's like when I wouldn't show up, people would DM me. So no
Mm.
live prayer today, this, that, and the third. And I would go down to visit like my friends, my family. And at the time, like, like just somebody that I was talking to as well. So it's just like I just had all these different things going on. And I was like, God, I don't have time for this. And eventually, like I just stopped doing it. And when I stopped doing it, like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just focus on me. I'm focused on the ministry, and people need prayer, they gotta pray for themselves. That's it. Pretty much.
Period.
And that was me. I was like, I'm done. Like, don't come to me. I am not Jesus. Like, don't come to me. But literally like almost not even a whole year later, like I just felt it heavily on my heart where I was like, yo, God, I feel like you want me to bring these prayers back. But I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I can't do it every day.
Yeah,
I
no.
cannot.
Nobody can
So I
sustain
was
that.
I was like, let's pick a day, let's pick something where we can be consistent. Cause that's one of the things that you hear in music where it's just like you don't gotta be doing everything all the time, but be consistent.
Consistent, yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I was like, pick certain days. Before I think I had it on like Wednesdays and Fridays. And then I was like, dang, bro. I was like, that's literally the middle of the week and the end of the week. I was like, I feel like I don't got no time still. Whatever. And I was like, God, we're gonna figure something out. So I was like, you know what? I was like, for me, the toughest times of my week is always the beginning and
Mm-hmm.
the ending. Um, because it's just like you get to the ending, you're like, thank God, but then it's just like I am one of those people that's like, I get 2 days. 2 days, and then I gotta go work for 5. Like,
Yeah.
So, and then there are people that they work on the weekend. I
Yeah.
was one of those people who worked on the weekend. So I'm like, let me not be selfish and think about it just because my work week is over on Friday, that other people don't got the starting of their work week on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what we're gonna do. We'll keep it consistent Mondays and Fridays at this time. And then starting it back up, like I even asked, I was like, hey guys, if I were to bring the live prayers back, how would you feel? And it was like the poll where everybody was like out the roof, like, yo, like bring it back.
Okay.
And like I said, like even moving forward, like this month we made an entire year that we've been consistent
Oh
with
wow.
doing these prayers every Monday, every Friday. And granted, there are some times, like there are some weeks where I don't do it because I be having a lot going on.
Yeah.
But it's the fact of like being able to still be consistent even throughout the month itself.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, even if I did a live prayer, I think last week, if I'm not mistaken. And then when the whole thing with Biz happened, I haven't done one yet.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like I said, there's been a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, but like a lot of the people now, they don't hassle me. They just be like, you know what, Jeka, like we're here, we're
Mm-hmm.
praying for you, and I let people know, hey, this is tough. I work a job too. I
Yeah.
come home, I'm tired, and then I gotta come on here, but I stopped looking at it in that sense of like it's a burden.
Yeah.
I started looking at it in the lens of like we're sowing a seed together. And there are some people that have been consistent with me for the whole year, which I think is dope. And then you got some people that are just coming in for the first time, whether they're following me for the first time and hey, I didn't know that you did this. And I'm just like, yo, like I just wanna, because at the end of the day, I'm like, music is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to let you guys know, like, God is the reason why I'm here.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, I don't have it all together. This is my way to be transparent. Like, yo, the pictures I post, the things that they look great. Nah, I'll go on my live and be like, today was a really crappy day,
Yeah.
but I had to push through it. Coming on there, it makes me happy because it's like, it's so much encouragement. Like, coming on the actual live itself, it's like no one's looking at each other like, oh, I don't know you. It's like, hey, what's up, man? What's up? This, that, and the third. They'll drop their requests, and it's like, yo, I got you, bro. I'm gonna pray for you. Some people remember other people's petition, and they're like, yo, like I pray for this. How's this going? I'm like, yo, that's
Wow.
these people have never met each other,
Yes.
but it's a community, and I'm just like, God, like this is what I wanted, a community where it's all positive. And even if people don't actively look at it like, yo, I call myself a Christian, it's just more so like people come in there with the respect of, yo, respect to everybody, sending up prayers, this, that, and the third. And it means a lot because you can get some wild people to come in there and they be turning up, talk about some crazy stuff. But at least for me, I just felt like it was something on my spirit where it was like, God was like, I need you to start doing this again. This is not for you. This is for others. But while you're doing for others, I'm also working in you.
Right on. Yes. That's a word.
And bro, listen, I've been listening to all these different words, doing my notes. And the only person I always think about whenever I think about things like this is Joseph.
Mm.
Joseph was in jail.
Yeah.
Joseph had the dream where he felt like he was going to be up here and he was all the way down here.
Yeah.
And in prison, he stopped focusing on his own dream to help interpret others' dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And through all those different things, God was able to work in his heart in a different way where when it was time for him to get to that level, he realized it wasn't about him at all.
Yeah.
And that's just how I look at my life, where I'm just like, granted, there are moments where I'm not thinking in the most spiritual aspect of things. I'm like, I'm an emotional human being.
Yes.
I'm like, God, this is not fair. If anything, I think this is, bull. But at the same time, I was like, I get it. Just give me the patience, give me the ability to, if I don't understand what's going on, give me the patience so that when it is time for me to understand, I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because granted, if God was to show us all the blueprint of our life that he has for us, 9 times out of 10, we probably all just leave.
Yeah.
What you want me to do? What?
For sure.
Me? What? Me? I didn't graduate with this. I didn't do this. I didn't never work this. Like, how you
Yeah.
want me to do that? And it's like, it's got to be in seasons. And that's initially what I just told God. I'm like, granted, my job, I love it, in the sense of where I get to help people and speak to others, because it's in a sense like still being a mentor, like when I was in school, just in a different way, because I help people with their finances now.
Okay.
But I look at it in the sense of like, it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know, eventually I want to get out of my 9 to 5, be able to enjoy trips when I want to go and not have to ask for the days off, and
Yes.
put in the timesheet and all that stuff.
Yes.
But I was like, I'll take it. Whatever it is you're trying to teach me right now, like, I'm gonna just take it. Just let me be receptive.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And then moving forward, I'm just like, God, I know at the end of the day, I was like, where my heart is at, eventually I want to do something with the youth. I don't know what it is, but I know it's gonna be something, because that's where my life changed.
Yeah.
That is initially where my life changed for me. Not saying it got easier,
Mm-hmm.
but it changed, and I'm just like, just help me. And when I look back, I'm like, he placed me in a room where I was with a lot of younger students at my age, but being able to still have the respect, but still be able to level with them,
Mm-hmm.
understand them, and communicate. So now that I'm at my job where I'm talking to all different type of age groups, I'm able to do that effectively.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with a youth group. You're going to have kids from 12 to dang near, what was it? But usually, at least for my church, the way it was set up is if you're not married, you're technically considered youth because you're a young adult.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're not married and you're like 25, like I was, and stuff like that, it's like you're going to have to figure out how to speak in a language that everybody can kind of understand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know that's not an easy trait to possess. It's something you got to be taught.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was getting taught.
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way, but I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm going to just take it for what it is. And now when I'm in my job, I'm like, God, I don't know what's next. But just, let me know when it's time to leave, because I will leave.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
I was like, let me know. Because, like I said, I love my job. But at the same time, it's like, I want to get paid more, Lord. I want to get paid more. But that's just because I have different goals set for myself. But
yeah,
that's basically just what it is. So like with the live prayer, it was just more so, I just felt like that was on my spirit. And I was like, I got to be obedient to this, because it's not for me. It is for whoever is tuning in, whether it's for the first time, later on after they go back and watch it. And then even if people hit me up or they don't, like, my affirmation is, God, I did what you told me to do.
yeah,
Not that I get to have X amount of people join, X amount of people comment on the video, X amount of people share. Like, I don't care about that. If anything, it's like, can we pray for each other? Can we intercede for one another? The Bible says we got to build each other up.
mm-hmm.
Confess our sins to one another. Like, this is how we edify each other.
Yeah,
Not only just with the talents that God's given us. That's just the tool.
yes.
But like I said, like, I don't know. Like, it just, and my best friend's always messing with me too. He'd be like, he's always calling me a pastor. And I'm like, bro, you gotta chill. Relax. I was like, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
But he was like, just look at your life. He's like, everything you've ever had to endure, he's like, it's a lot of responsibility for one person that sometimes you didn't even have to take on that responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, whatever God wanted to do. So he's got me into the mindset where I'm like, you know what? That's what God wants. I accept the drip. All of it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you were built this way. Even when you were a kid, you were taking on responsibility and the responsibilities of your parents splitting up and you feeling like you need to step up with your younger siblings. So I think that's just in you. And yeah, you may not technically be a pastor, but you are ministering to people. So.
Exactly. You got to change the way that people perceive pastors, because now it's like you got to be on a pulpit to go and be doing God's work, and it's like, nah, bro, you can have a conversation with somebody,
Exactly.
tell them about the man that went ahead, the God that changed your life.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't never push my beliefs on the people. Be like, you should do this and you should do that. I'll literally just sit there, listen, and be like, look, for me, this is what happened with me. That is it.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
how it should be. So, how would you say God's presence looks like in your life personally, outside of the music, just personally?
So for one, aside from being able to put me in the atmosphere that I'm in at work,
Mm-hmm.
granted, my biggest thing when I worked my first full time job, I was working for some. They were amazing people, but it was hard because it was like there was such a juggle of beliefs. You know, whether it was um, you were a Christian, whether it was you were um, what is it, like, obviously like Jewish, like they believe in Jesus, but it's just like this is different.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got those people that it's just like they don't believe in anything, and then you got the people that is like, okay, but how do you know? Like the skeptical people, it's
Yeah.
like, but how do you really know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how do you know that you want to be with this person forever, but you guys have never done X, Y, Z's? Like, how do
Mhm.
you really know that? It's
Yeah.
just like, what do you mean? And just like stuff like that. So aside from that, um, being in that atmosphere was like, I don't have to feel insecure about, speaking. Hey, bro, I just listened to this fire sermon and telling my coworker about it. They're like, yo, send it to me. Like, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
And, them asking me, hey, bro, like, what you got going on? Like, I'm able to be like, oh, I went to this youth conference. They're like, oh, like, how was it? And genuinely want to know how it was.
Yeah.
So aside from that, and then just, like I said, I don't make a lot of money. I don't. But my bills are always paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And even then some, like I got, people that just randomly bless me. People who reach out to me like, how can I go ahead and sew into what is it you're doing? And it's just like, not even with music, it's just like, I just see what you're doing. How can I help?
That's,
Whether it's with a prayer,
mm-hmm.
whether it's monetary, whether it's just calling in, like, how are you today? Because you'd be surprised. Not a lot of people do that.
No, they
But
don't.
I
People
get
don't
it
talk
though.
on the phone these days.
Everything is a voice message,
Yeah.
Instagram, or I see you when I see you.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't even lie. I am doing, like, I'm actively working on getting better at that,
Yeah.
because I am one of those people that's like, I'll let weeks, months go by, and it's like I'll probably be thinking about somebody, and I'm let it go to the back of my mind because I'm like, I'll get to it later. And now I'm just at a point where, especially with what happened with Biz, I'm like, yo, whoever it is, I don't care what time it is, how random it may seem, I'm just do it. Because at the end of the day, it's like you never know what that person's going through, and you may be somebody's answered prayer.
Yeah. Yeah. That,
So that's it. And like, aside from like the whole music aspect, it's just like the people he's been able to place me around. You know, I can be myself.
mm-hmm.
So, and then on top of that, it's like me being able to get to work every day. Like, I'll tell you today, I saw like 3 accidents going to work today. And I'm like, God, thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I live in Atlanta, so 3 accidents is nothing. That's that's just like the
God,
morning. That's the
it
morning in
this
one part of town.
that's crazy. No, me, I was like, yo, what is going on this morning? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, okay, God, like, I thank you, because at the end of the day, I could get frustrated because I don't got road rage, but I hate people that lollygag. It's like, bro, I need you to move, move, like, beep, beep, move. But at the same time, I'm not those aggressive, like, honk my horn type of person. If anything,
Yeah.
I'm I'm getting at you in my mind in the car, just like, oh, God, you're so lucky I met the Lord. Very lucky.
You're better than me. I can be in mid prayer and somebody needs something stupid, and I'm just like, honking the horn. I'm just
No, I
stop.
can't.
I'm
My biggest
like,
fear is like getting somebody on like the wrong side
yeah, yeah,
and they snap with just hearing that horn honk.
Nah.
That's just me though.
No, I mean there was a whole movie that Russell Crowe did.
Unhinged.
Yes,
Yep.
that I was like, maybe I need to.
Listen, I was like, God, because my aunt was like, yo, you need to watch this. I'm like, first of all, my road rage is not like that. I was like, if anything, I am yelling at you in my car. I'm
Yeah.
calling you an idiot and all the other things possible. And you'll see my hand moving like, ooh. It's like, are you dumb? That's literally my
Yes.
favorite thing. Are you dumb? But I don't honk my horn because I'm just like, I'm always afraid that, you know, there's going to be somebody that can attest to that.
Yeah.
And even when people be honking their horn at me, I'm like, oh, you gonna wait. Oh yeah, you gonna wait now. You wanna go around me. Go
Yeah.
around me and I'm gonna move slow on purpose.
Yeah. Nah, I honk my horn if there's a car coming towards me.
Oh, of course.
Yes. Hello, I
Yeah,
am here.
exactly. I do that when I'm coming into like parking lots, when I'm leaving parking lots and coming into those weird intersections. But highway wise, I'm just like, listen, I love Florida, but people can't drive out here, man.
People can drive in Georgia or at least in Atlanta.
People cannot drive out here. I'm just like, what is wrong with you, Floridians? But you know, for the most part, like I said, I'm very thankful, like, to be able to get to work and even just have a job, even during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, God, you are very much evident because I got this job right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get another car right before the pandemic, and I'm just like, before I wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah.
But just apply for jobs and feel like I went to school for nothing. Like really beating myself up. And like he's just like, yo, I'm like, I'm here. Like I provide for you. Like your bills are paid for. You know, you may not have the money that you want to go out all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but your bills are paid for.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that that's a big blessing. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
fixated on I want to go out, I want to do this, I need to get out. And I'm like, okay, but are your bills paid? You
Yeah.
can go out, have fun, but are your priorities taken care of? And a lot of people don't think that way. It's like, oh, I'll just pay for it later. What?
Mm-hmm.
What? So,
Yeah.
you know, but that's the way that I feel like I can basically see him, that he's very evident in my life. And then just even with decisions that I gotta make on a daily basis where it's like it can be the most smallest thing and I'm just like, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. Like just stuff like that. And I'm just like, dang, bro, it's something small, like very innocent. And it's just like you still feel bad that you got the conviction. You're like,
Yeah.
there's some times where I'd be like, God, I wish I didn't have this conviction. But at the same time, like my mom always tells me is if you get to a place in your life where you ain't got no conviction, you in trouble.
Yeah. It's for real.
Like you in trouble because at that point it's like God is really not near you. Or you're not even that he's not near you. You're not near him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't get next to all that. So,
Okay.
and then making those decisions, you know, whether to cut off certain relationships, certain habits, stuff like that. So there's just like you look at it in a different aspect where it's like, God, like how can I have a healthier life, me and you?
Okay. And let's talk about your music start. How did you even get started into doing music?
So funny story is I actually have a cousin. His name is Kevin. Um, essentially like his artist name is Spliff, Rob Spliffin. Um, so essentially it was when we were growing up, he would always be outside with his friends. And they'd be outside freestyling. Just bar for bar, all that stuff. Out there freestyling. And I was like, you know, this is pretty cool. Like I want to try this. Can you hear me? Okay. I just want to make sure. So I was like, I want to try this. Um, you know, for the most part, like this seems pretty cool. Like I see that all the guys are getting into it. And I realized like for me, all I knew how to do was write poetry and spoken word. I did not know how to put music and words together.
Mm-hmm.
So my cousin would give me these exercises. He'd be like, because he lived right around the corner from me. So every day I go to my grandma's house and he lived right in the back. So he'd be like, every day you come over, he's like, we're gonna write at least 4 bars a day.
Okay.
We're gonna write, and then you're gonna get to a point where you're just gonna write 16s, and we're just gonna put music and you're gonna write. Just write.
Like a little
And I'm like,
boot
okay. Basically, I didn't know what I was signing myself up for, to be honest. I was like, what? I was like, I don't even know what to say. And, eventually, like, it got to a point where, I don't lie, I started off rapping about things that I did not have. I was like 12, talking about I had an Escalade on 22s and all these different things. And
You
I'm
can't
just
even
like,
drive. Can you
no,
even
you
reach
can't
the
though.
pedal?
I was just there. I was like, this is what I hear on the radio. And I'm just like, cool. Like, no, I'm gonna talk about how everybody cool me in the hood, because like I grew up around a lot of guys. So it was just like they all protected me like as the little sister. So granted, I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to go to the park, none of that stuff. My mom would not play that. Okay. I get home from school and I gotta stay in my little in house.
Yeah.
Going outside, I was not allowed to leave the gate. Like that's how it was. And as I got older, I was like, I'm gonna start, showing and I would make little songs. Like I don't know if you remember, but there was a song called like "This While I'm Hot."
Oh
Like,
yeah. This is yeah. I remember that.
yeah. So I'm like, I made a little quick freestyle. I don't know if you remember back then when you had like a 30-second ringtones that you
Yeah.
play.
Yes.
So anybody who's watching this, if you don't know that, okay, it's all right. Um, for the most part, I would take that to school and I would write the verses and I'll be like, um, I'll be like, start off with the flow and then after that, play the chorus right after, and everyone's like, oh, and I'm just like, yo, that's what's up. And as I got older, I was like, look, I feel like in a way, like I'm pretending, hella pretending. It's like I don't have jewelry, I don't have a lot of money, I only got a job. Like I just go to school.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I want to start talking about something that's real. I want to start talking about stuff where people can identify themselves when I say my stories. And one of the first things I ever wrote about was about the situation of my parents divorcing. Granted, I never recorded the actual song, but I'll never forget. It was the first song I ever written. And it was I Got Five on it.
Okay.
Classic. You feel me?
Of
Classic.
course. I'm from the West Coast, so that is classic for me.
So I was like, I just heard the beat. I was like, okay, like this hard. I was like, let's see what I can do. I write, and literally everybody that I met, I would always perform that song. They're like, yo, like this is some, like I felt that, like I could feel it, and I'm just like, yeah, like you should record it and put it out there. I'm like, nah. I was like, this is just a song I'll perform live. Like I'll never record this because I don't want to keep it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't say the best things about my dad, but at the same time, it was just like how I felt. And moving forward, it was like after we did that, I was like, God, like I want to talk about something that's real. And then when I had my encounter, and I felt like this is, I had the realest conversation with God. I was like, what type of music do you want me to do? Because I'm good at both. Like not to my own horn here, but like I'm pretty good at both. I can rap, as a mainstream without cussing.
Yeah.
And still talk about something. But at the same time, like I'm flexing about things that I don't have.
Yeah.
And I was like, at the same time, I was like, I've had an encounter with you where I feel like I'm changing from the inside out. And I want to find a way to express that, but I don't want people to box me in where it's just like, this is all the type of music I'm ever going to make.
Yeah.
This is the only genre you're going to be in. But I was like, whatever it is you tell me, I'll do it. And I just heard back like, I just want you to glorify me. That's it.
Okay.
Just keep me at the center. I'm like, all right, cool. So what I started doing was I started telling my story through my songs, my encounterments with God, my downfalls in the most transparent way possible, where it was like, you guys may see me where it's like, I'll be jumping, I'll be praising, I'll be worshiping, but I wasn't made like this.
Yeah.
It was pushing through, like continuously seeking God. And even now, as we're doing the whole, letting you guys listen, is like, even now. And moving forward, I was just like, I was really touched by an artist in the space. His name is KB. And I remember his testimony where he was like, what saved him was somebody's mixtape.
Mm-hmm. I
And
told
that
his
hit.
testimony, so you can look that up.
I
Testimony
was like,
story.com.
bruh, I literally was like, yo, what? And it just hit me where it was like, you know what, God, like the same way where you were able to use that person to bring him to you, and now he's doing all these different things. I was like, I don't even care so much to what it is that they end up becoming per
Mm-hmm.
se. It's just more so I want to be able to just to plant a seed where if they give you the opportunity, you can take them from glory to glory. And I feel like at the end of the day, the only Bible that people are ever going to read is you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not perfect. And it is just what it is. And I want people to understand that. But I was like, I don't know how to put that in a way where it's like, I don't got to talk about money and I don't got to talk about this, because it's like, I feel like nobody will listen.
Yeah.
And, moving forward, it was like, I think I had like 4 years before I actually get to put out my project. I had like a little mixtape thing where I would record the songs, put it on a little CD, and when I went to like churches, I would sell them for like $3.
Mm.
That's it. It had 3 songs, $1 per song. I was like, bro, it's better than iTunes. You feel me? Like, you paying like $1 song and you getting like a little ringtone. But it was really cool because I started doing the music with my brother. We started off as a group. So we started off as a group, and it was just like he had this charisma where it was like he wasn't afraid of anything. He'll step on the stage or he'll step on the altar, and it was like he knew how to control a crowd. Like, it was a gift. So I'm like, yo, I can't do that.
And
well, when I used to perform, I used to look down. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
I felt nervous. I felt like I couldn't do it. And doing it with my brother for, I think it was like, the first 3 years, it was really dope because we learned a lot from each other. We wrote some songs together, and initially, like, eventually we went our own separate ways. Like, he started doing his own thing. I kept doing my thing. But I also understand that if we would have never had that, I would have never had the confidence I have right now.
Yeah.
So, and then just a little baby boot camp and being able to be put into a place where I was able to meet different artists, that we put our resources together. We put together a project that was 4 years in the making, but it happened in 6 months. And it was really awesome. I put together my first concert/album release party.
Okay.
And I had people show up from high school that I haven't spoken to in years.
That's dope.
Like, they saw it on Facebook. They're like, yo, we had to come support it. And I'm like,
that's love.
what? I'm like, yo, I was like, I was not, okay, God, you got it. And I remember during that time, it was like the only support I really had aside from my parents and my brother and my sister was my church home. Like, everybody else, my friends, some of my family, they would tell me it was corny. They were like, oh, they'll make jokes about it. And I'm just like, I was hurt. I was like, dang, bro. I was like, y'all don't treat, my cousin like this. And you feel me? I was like, how come I get this treatment? Is because I'm talking about this and they're talking about that, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I realized I had to stop looking at it that way. And I thought back to that message, where my brother would tell me, he'd be like, at the end of the day, he's like, remember who you do it for. Because that's something we would always tell each other.
Yeah.
When in doubt, remember who you do it for.
Mm-hmm.
And moving forward, we put out that project. It was so much fun. I got to have my brother, my best friend, that it was her first time even recording in the studio, like ever. She was on the project with me. And then eventually that's when I went ahead, took a hiatus once I started FIU, and I wanted to find like my sound. I wanted to find what fit me. So for the most part, took a hiatus, just did features, didn't really work on projects too much. And moving forward, it was a lot going on for me, transitioning from 2019 to 20, no, transitioning from 2019 to 2020. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Okay. Why was it a lot?
I was graduating from school.
Mm.
I had no job. I had
Okay.
no place to live. At the time, I was, trying to start a life with someone that we were much involved in each other's life for many, many years. And it just felt like everything was falling apart.
Mm.
I felt like I wanted to be here, but God wanted me somewhere else. And whenever I would talk to somebody about it, they'd be like, no, just stay here.
Yeah.
And it was hard. And I'm just like, God, I don't know what to do here. Like, I want to make this person happy. I want to make this person happy, but like, I want to make you happy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. And that's what I had to decipher for myself. Like, what's going to make you happy? Because I wouldn't say I'm a people pleaser, but I do love the fulfillment of being able to see that I brought joy to somebody.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was there a relationship that you had to abandon or anything?
Yep. Had abandoned at the time the love of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I had to abandon my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily like just never talk to them ever
Yeah.
again, but it was more so like, hey guys, like I'm leaving. I don't know when I'll be back, but I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
My church home. This is the church where I got my first real encounter with God. They really pushed me. They really helped groom me. I
Mm-hmm.
was a youth leader at the time. Like it was just so many things that I'm like, yo. And then the community I was building for myself at FIU, where granted, how you're not freely able to speak about your religion in school.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to go ahead and perform at different events within school, whether it was for Black Student Union, whether it was for like Greek life events, whether it was for like student government events, whatever it may be. And they always wanted the song that was, in my opinion, it was like the most Christian of the Christian. It's like literally, it's like, God, you are the love of my life.
Okay.
Like his name is God and he is in love with you. And it's called the love of my life. And
Yeah.
they loved the song.
Okay.
Like they loved it. And I'm like, okay, God, like there's no hiding. Like this is
Yeah.
about you.
Exactly.
This is about you. And it was like whenever they had events, they knew what my catalog was. Granted, I didn't have separation anxiety, I didn't have in love, I didn't have low, I didn't have anything I have now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was all that project, which was super safe. I was
Yeah.
super on fire. Okay. And they're like, yo, Jeka, we want you to perform at our events. I got to open up for Super Duper Kyle at my university, and they knew the type of catalog that I had. And I'm just like, God, this makes no sense. Like, we're not allowed to talk about these things because it makes people uncomfortable, but they're insisting that I go ahead and I share this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, you know what? I ain't gonna be disobedient, and we're gonna make it happen. You feel me?
Yes.
Some people end up getting that seed sowed in them. That's all I care about. And we went ahead and did that, and it was like, granted, at that event, I had a brand new catalog nobody knew about. I performed separation anxiety for the very first time. I didn't know how people were going to react to it because everybody was so accustomed to seeing me in this light.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a bunch of new faces. I didn't go to school there no more. I was an alumni at that point.
Mm.
So you feel me? Like, it was just a lot of different emotions. And I'm just like, God, I don't know what you're doing here. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to leave. I'm building a fan base here. They support me. They love me. They trying to put me on. Like, what are we doing? And it was more so like, I understand now that it was more so he wanted to show me that my trust was starting to fall into what I was being given instead of the giver.
Got it. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, fine, we'll move. Super heartbreaking, okay? I was depressed for like the first 3 months.
I understand that. I've been there.
I was depressed. I went on a family vacation. I went to I'm my background is I'm Puerto Rican. I went to Puerto Rico for the very first time for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And just went out there and I was like, God, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. Like, what's up? I just graduated. I should be really happy. My heart's in a million pieces. I'm in a place where I don't got no friends, no resources, no job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you want me to be happy right now.
Yeah.
Or, be joyful, because you're giving me another day of life. Like, I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit uneasy right now.
Yeah.
And like, just moving forward, it was like going through those different emotions, moving up here, I was able to focus on not only the relationship that I was building with God, but he showed me what it was that is like, it doesn't matter where you go. As long as you are obedient to where you feel that I'm taking you, I will always provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
My bills are paid. Granted, like I said, I wasn't working at the time, but my bills were still paid for. And then I was able to learn how to record myself, how to pre-mix some of my stuff. So when I sent it to my engineers, it was less work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more so the person, if I can learn everything and put on different hats, I'm for it.
Yeah.
You feel me? But at the same time, like, it was hard. Like, my cousin was the one who showed me. He was like, hey, I'm not going to record you no more. You're going to learn. This is this button. This is that button. You figure it out. Bro, it'd take me hours to finish one song.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, this is hard. And he comes in there, he's done in like less than 30 minutes. I'm like, yo. And he was like, bro, you got to keep practicing.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm telling you. He's like, the more you do it, the faster you'll get. And what I would do is I would record different songs. Like, before I even got to separation anxiety, I would record all these different tracks. And I'm just like, dang it, bro. Like, I just feel like it's missing some. I would send it to my friends and they'd be like, yo, this is cool. But like, it's like super youth group. like super, super youth group, like super churchy. I'm like, bro, that's the only crowd I know.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Like, I don't, like, whatever I put in front of them, they eat it up. That's it. Like, I don't know. And like I said, just having that moment, being able to go to A3C and being able to be around like the actual community. And I'm like, oh, this is what Christian hip hop is. Ooh, I was like, wow, I didn't even know. I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was turned, doing mosh pits. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, I was like, and everybody's sober here? Just want to make sure. Like, everybody's sober here?
Yes,
I was
they
like, these are things
the Lord.
I was like, these are things I saw when I was in school.
Yeah.
That if I'm doing some stuff like this, it's because your girl ain't sober. Like, at all. And I'm like, here, like, watching everybody, I'm like, yo, that's really dope. And being able to see that, where it's like, yo, it's like, if you're truly like moving in the spirit, it's like, bro, that's all you need. It's like, hey, God, turn me up. Yeah. That's it. But moving forward, it was just like sending the songs over. I remember going to A3C and I was like, I had a song I was super proud of. Like, yo, I was like, this is it. This is gonna be the one. Da 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 da. I showed it to my friends. They're like, yo, it's a cool track. But they're like, for this, they're like, it's not gonna cut it. Like, and we're just being honest with you. They're like, they're gonna tell you no. And I'm just like, dang, bro, like I'm trying, like I'm working, I'm practicing, I'm doing this. And granted, like not a lot of people knew what I was going through because I'm very good at just like pushing things to the side to, put a good face moving forward. And once we ended up coming back, that was when I was in the process of trying to find my job. I was also in the process of like abandoning someone, but at the same time not abandoning, leaving the door open a little bit. Like, whenever you're ready, pop back in. I'm here. It was a lot. And then I remember like just one day on the bus, I was going home and I just like sat there and I remember just like asking God, I was like, God, I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah.
I really don't. I was like, I feel like no matter what song I put out, somebody's always going to put it down. And I heard it in my head. Remember who you do it for. Came back and wrote Separation Anxiety because that's was really how I was feeling.
Okay.
And it became one of my biggest songs. And then when COVID happened, it was like God made it happen for a reason because everybody was experiencing that feeling.
Yeah.
Being separated from their loved ones, this, that, and the third. And I was just like, bro, I was like, if only you guys knew when I wrote this, I was going through hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know what I was going to do. And the fact is, like, people being able to be like, yo, like, this song speaks to me. Even people who are not believers.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, do you have anything else? And then they'll go back to my old stuff and be like, yo, like, I didn't even know that you had this. Like, this is dope. And I don't even listen to music like this, but they'll play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, God, keep doing your thing. That is a seed. That's how I look at streams. That's how I look at views. Is that's a seed that's sown into this amount of people's hearts that actively watch for even if it was 30 seconds.
To say that is just so just dope and just evidence of God that you went from people down talking your songs or talking trash about your songs to being Rapzilla freshman of 2021.
The only female freshman of 2021 too. Like that still blows my mind too, because I think about it all the time. And I've had conversations with some of my sisters that were on the nomination too. I'm like, bro, I was like, I don't understand how we're not all here together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like they always encourage me. And they're like, God knew and he did what he had to do. Mm-hmm. And it's all love. And I'm like, bro, it's like I would have never imagined, because at the end of the day, I don't have the most extensive catalog. I don't. But it is proof that if you are faithful to what it is that God has called you to do, he will make some of the things happen in your life that you're like, yo, I can't even take the credit for this. I cannot. And like I said, like now just the support from people. Like, bro, I was getting clowned on Rapzilla like 2 years ago.
Really? Okay.
On like the lives.
Oh, okay.
Bro, what? People love their little 10 seconds of fame. I tell you that. They was clowning me. I was like, dang, bro, like I just felt so discouraged. And I remember like talking to OB and Chad in person that when I went out there to meet them, and they both encouraged me. They're like, keep going. Like, if you feel this is what God has called you to do, like keep going. Like if this is the direction that you want to move in, understand that everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Some people won't support you till you're popular. Mm-hmm. It is the way it is. And I'm like, okay. Granted, it was a hard pill for me to like swallow. I'm like, dang, bro, that's tough. Like, that's kind of mean, but it's life.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like it's different. Like I still am humbled for the fact of, people being able to talk about how they enjoy the music and, when is there going to be more coming and this, that, and the third. Cause, back then it was more so like, wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So I'm very humbled, even like now, just being a freshman. Granted, for everybody, it's like it's not nothing like, oh my God, whatever, whatever. For me, it's more so just um a milestone within my long journey that I got ahead of me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not where I'm gonna stop,
No.
but I am happy that I can be a voice, an advocate, not only just for like other women who either identify themselves with me, whether it's because it's a woman of color, whether it's the fact of you know, just being the only woman sometimes in the room full of dudes.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. But also being able to let them know, like, hey, bro, you don't have to have a super extensive catalog. You don't have to be in everybody's face like that. It's stay faithful to what it is God has called you to do, and trust that even though they're not saying anything, you got people watching you.
Yeah. That is true.
And that's the truth.
For real. Okay. I want to move forward to the 4-song breakdown, where the artist raps or recites a verse and discusses what's going on between the lines of the song story. So for you, I chose Lolo with What Just Call Me DT, In Love with Scooty Wop, Separation Anxiety, and Time for Real with Cam and Red Tips. If you wouldn't mind, I don't know if there's like maybe a bar that you love from each one of those songs that you wouldn't mind delivering and discussing as to why you selected it.
I think for the most part is at least the first song was Lolo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So at least for me, I think my favorite part is Lola was a really like feel good record where it was just like I'm really bragging on that I know God has called me to do some.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a different song for me, but I would say like my favorite bar would probably be um said my time is coming real soon. So much drip don't need a wave, they call me typhoon. Like that bar within itself. I was like, yo, who are you when I wrote it? And I was like, I'm gonna keep that. And as far as what my mindset was behind it was just like everybody has this thing was like, yo, you up next. You up next. They got next. This, that, and the third. And it's like I'm looking at more so from the perspective of like, I know eventually my time is gonna come when God has appointed it to be. Um, but as of right now, I feel like I am living in my time that I'm supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of present, I'm able to be transparent and let people know like I'm not perfect, but at the same time it's just like there was a challenge that I did for Miles Minnick a long time ago,
Okay.
and it was to the DNA challenge. I actually won that challenge, which is crazy.
Right
And
on.
there was the song itself was he was talking about like if you get close to the click you get a dose of the drip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for that particular challenge I said I was talking about like my brothers and stuff like that, and I was like, yo, like everybody's talking about drip. I got this, I got that, and I was like, bro, I got the drip of prosperity. Like that's what I got all my life. So when I wrote that bar, that's why I said so much drip don't need a wave. They call me typhoon. Where it's like nowadays everybody just want to ride the wave, and it's just like I don't need that wave because at the end of the day, it's just like I got so much prosperity that God has instilled in me, and it's like I'm my own wave.
Right. Right on.
That is it. And I'm like, that's tough. For me, I was like, that's tough. I'm gonna
That
keep
was
it.
tough. Yeah, yeah. And then
So
for In Love with Scooty Wop.
uh let me see. I think for that one then okay. This is probably the beginning. Where it's playing games. No more trying to play it safe. Your love's like Medicaid. Don't need to regulate. You are a part of me, just like an artery. I need your honesty. I hear you calling me. Like that first whole bar, I remember when I wrote it, I was like, yo. I don't know what's gonna come after, but I'm keeping this. Like as I'm recording it.
Yeah.
And at least for that part specifically, it's just like a lot of people tend to think like, oh, like I'm trying to pull up on somebody. Like, hey, bro, like I'm tired of playing games with you. Let me know, cause I'm ready. I'm here. Do you want me to? Like, I want you.
Yeah.
And I basically wrote it in that sense to be very universal. But in reality, what I'm talking about is just like, I'm really just talking to God, like, hey, God, like I'm done playing with you. Like, I'm not trying to play the games with you. Your love is like Medicaid. Like there's no cutoff that you're gonna give me.
Yeah.
And that's literally like my favorite bar, because like a lot of people are like Medicaid, like no need to regulate. Like what does that even mean? It's like, there's like it's free, but at the same time, like when you have a regulation, it's like you're capped at a certain amount.
Yeah.
And it's like God's love is free. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, like I want this because you don't got no limits for how much love you have for me, even when I'm like not doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like letting him know, like, you're a part of me, just like an artery. So the veins that I got, like you're a part of me. You run within me. And at the same time, it's like I need your honesty. Like God's always gonna be honest with me. But at the same time, it's just like, in order for me to go ahead and be able to point out that he's being honest with me, is like I have to be adhere that he's actually calling me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm just like, yo, it's like I hear you calling me. Like I want you, and I also hear that you're calling me too. So I know that the feeling is mutual. Then it's the actual pre-chorus where it says, "Tone it down, give me love and affection, no matter what I've done. I'm part of his selection."
Mm.
It was a song I wrote a long time ago. I never recorded it.
Okay.
But I would always talk about how, as an imperfect person chasing after a perfect God, it was like he still chose me out of everybody else. Out of all the stuff that he knows that I'm already going to do, he still chose me. And it's like, if he still chose me, he can still choose you. And that's the type of love I want in my life, where it's like a lot of people feel like, you can only have that type of love with a significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Love is patient, love is kind, and doesn't keep no record of no wrong. And it's like that same mentality should be kept in the way that we have our relationship with God.
Right on.
And that's just the point of view. Granted, the way we even did the video, where it was like we did it purposely that way, so it can be like a conversation started with like, oh, I thought like this and the third, and then you start talking about like, dang, bro, like I think I've had a few people hit me up. They're like, yo, I watched the whole video, but literally as I'm watching it and I'm listening, you were talking about God this whole time. They're like, you showed us one picture, but you was really talking about something else. And I'm like, because sometimes it's just like being able to meet everybody where they're at, but at the same time not compromising my words.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. And then separation anxiety.
Oh, I said, I'm going to take shots to the head till I'm gone. Switch up the remedy to get in my zone. Like, that was me kind of just touching on the base where when I was in school, or just not even when I was in school, and I just felt a certain way, it was like, I would go ahead, I wouldn't abuse alcohol, but I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go, get my mind off of things. And that's where I came in earlier, where I said, I've realized that just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean that I don't still struggle with stuff of my past.
Yeah.
And how the world tells me I should deal with pain or deal with uneasiness and stuff like that. But it's also reminding myself that switching up the remedy basically just means I have a different way of dealing with my problems. And that was the bar that stuck out to me, that for that first verse. And then the second verse was, what I do ain't for the coach is for the king. I want the crown, you just want the ring. Like, that part right there, I was like, yo, when I wrote that too, I was like, huh, people don't know, like, it was late. Like, that entire, like, first and second verse, I wrote it freestyle. Like, I just went in front of the mic and I was like, Holy Spirit, we're going to do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. It was just punching in, keep going, keep going. And that point itself is just like, you have everybody nowadays where it's like, everything they say that they want to do is like, yo, I got to do this for the culture. I got to do this for the culture. This, that, and the third. Like, bro, listen, the culture's not coming back. If anything, the culture is literally going back to what was back in style. It's coming now. Where it's like, you got people where they dress vintage. It's like, that's how they dress back then. And it's coming to the present. So it's like, what I'm doing for the culture is for the king. Like, understand that even now when I'm talking to you, like, I'm doing this because God put it in my heart, and this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm doing it for him, no matter what. And then my crown, I want the crown of eternal life. I want to be able to hear him say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Like, I want that.
Yes.
And then you got people that are just like, yo, man, I just, like, it was kind of more so just like an analogy that people just want things so they can show you that they have them.
Yeah.
It's like, you see my championship ring, bro? Like, let me tell you how I had to go through hell and back to get this thing, like this, that, and the third. And it's just like, that's just where we got into. Like, people want all these things for the culture, and so that they can show it off and be like, hey, bro, look what I got. Oh, thank you, God, for giving me this. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with giving, God praise for what's been given to you, but at the same time, it's just like also looking at it from the perspective of, is this really for God? Because we'll take some, and it's like, the devil can bless you too now.
Yes.
And be like, oh, this was God. And that's what I feel like my life is always, is literally just is even now. It's like, I still got to discern certain things. Like, God, is this from you? Is this not? But yeah, separation anxiety, as far as with that whole thing, it was just like everybody in my ear telling me like, I'm changing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it was like, bro, like, I got to do my own thing. And even with the hook itself, I think this hook got me in trouble a lot too, which, lately I'm feeling emotions. I promise I'm not off that potion. To all of my friends I've been ghosting, love you, but I have been chosen. Like, a lot of people thought I said a bad word for whatever reason.
What?
They thought I said, what did they thought I said? They thought I said S-H-I-T. Like, they thought I said
word instead of
potion. They thought I said they're like, I'm not
There's
of that
multiple
BS.
syllables in potion.
No, I was just like, okay, I don't know. Okay, cool. And I'm like, all right, y'all got it. And but yeah, like, just even that course within itself is like, you're acknowledging the fact of, you've been feeling these type of feelings, but it's not because you've been basking yourself in alcohol and substances. It's the fact of, you're actually allowing yourself to feel what it is you're feeling. And it's no hard feelings to the people that love you, but you're literally having your Elijah moment where it's like, you gonna come with me or you gonna stay here? Let me know, because I'm leaving. And that's just what it was. And I mean, for me, like I said, like, that song's still one of my favorites, because it was just, bro, it was a very rough time. I was like, dang, bro, like, I'm leaving everything. Everything.
Yeah. And then Time for Real with Cam and Retips.
The opening verse, the opening hook. Same ones who doubted me say that they proud of me. Focus my hand on the wheel. Like, it was one day I woke up and I was feeling the type of way, and I was like, God, because I mentioned earlier, like, not a lot of people will support you till it seems popular, and I just started encountering some different, stuff with people, and I'm just like, dang, bro, like, not so long ago, you was having a whole different conversation to me. Like, now it's congratulations, but that's cool, thank you. But it was just like, I woke up one morning and it was just like, keep in mind that it's like, at the end of the day, it's just like, God said he's going to prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. He's going to bless you in front of your enemies. And it's just like, I just thought about that. I woke up, I was like, the same ones who doubted you eventually would say to your face, like, yo, bro, I'm proud of you. Like, I knew you could do it. This, that, and the third, but it's no hate. towards you, but it's just more so recognizing like who was really there for me and who wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like even now it's like I'm focused, where it's like my hand is literally just on the steering wheel. I'm focused on where I'm going, and that's just what it is.
Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. My grandma's here. Hold on.
Good.
I thought, what are you even doing up? It is way past your bedtime, almost 9 o'clock.
Ooh.
Girl, you usually out by 5 p.m. A snack? You want some cookies before you go to sleep? Okay. All right, girl. I'm
Listen,
almost
listen. Let her have her cookies,
done.
man.
I'm almost done. Her name's Jeka. What? Je, what? Who? Who is you? Who? Jet? What is it, Jeka?
Jekasole, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, Jekasole. I like that. You must really got some soul up in you, Jeka.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Nice to meet you, Jeka. Before I get my little cookies and go to sleep, you mind if I say a little prayer for you?
I don't listen. I'm always open. Go ahead. Go ahead,
All right.
Grandma. You got all the authority. Go ahead.
All right, Lord. I just want to thank you for blessing this talented artist with not only bars but baby hairs. Lord, her baby hairs make babies jealous. Lord, I pray that her songs continue to minister and entertain souls. Lord, that no matter what, even if she is in a tug of war, that she never asks, what did I ever do? That even when she is in hallways, that she gives you the time for real. Lord, because she is in love with you. And that's in love. Not spelled I-N, but in. Just the N. You know, these kids these days, they spelling and they just like to make stuff up in acronyms like FR. Lord, I had to pray upon your name, Lord, to find out what FR meant, that it meant for real. I guess these kids they ain't got time to spell out full words, Lord. I thought the pandemic would slow them down and give them the time to write out full words and just all this texting, Lord. They don't even talk on the phone. They want to text and video call and what's it called that FaceTime. I just want a phone call, Lord. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to read nothing. I just want to talk, Lord. But anyway, Lord, I pray that even when she is feeling low and having separation anxiety, that she continue to shoot like she Curry and be sweet with the swish, Lord. Lord, I pray these things, Lord, in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, Grandma. Ooh, I needed that
You're
in my
welcome.
life.
It's Mother Brown. It's nice to meet you, Miss
Oh,
Jeka.
Mother Brown. I'm so sorry, Mother Brown. Thank you so
It's all good, young lady. I'm gonna go get some cookies. Gonna take my little behind to sleep. You know, give me a little nap on it. But it was nice to meet you. I'm get my grandbaby Galika back on the line, okay?
much. Okay, thank you, Mother Brown. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Galika, she ready. She all prayed up, and I pray you got my milk and cookies ready. All right. Thank you for entertaining my grandma. She
Listen,
sucked.
I like her. I love her. I don't even listen. That's all I needed. She trying to get cookies at 9 o'clock at night. She my best friend. Okay.
And she be eating whatever she want, but still 106 years old. So basically, it
She
don't
look
matter.
good though. I see where I see it. You feel me? I see it just runs in the bloodlines. Like it's just that melanin is literally just that favor. But God is like, He's gonna keep you
Yes,
young in the spirit and on the exterior. So
right on. And praises to the Lord. And One of my final questions to you is, how does God's presence look like in your life musically? We talked personally. What about musically?
So first things first, um, just one, when I went ahead and I put out uh like separation anxiety, just the way that it was able to touch people.
Mm.
Like it was able to touch people that weren't even only in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And just like in a different way where it was just like I've seen him open up doors for me, make connections for me that I'm just like, God, how? In
Mm-hmm.
such a short amount of time. Like, just the relationships. And it's like, a lot of people will look and be like, yo, how did you get here? Like, what do you have to do? This, that, and the third. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people. Hey, bro, what do you got to do to get here? This, that, and the
Yeah.
third. Like, just tell me your ways. And in all honesty, it's just like, just continue to be faithful to God and ask that He connects you to the right people within the right time. Um, but musically, it's just like, aside from the accolades of things with the Rapzilla freshman and the amount of streams and stuff like that, it's really just being able to see the impact that whether it's people that I've met, people that I haven't met, but that they're just so willingly able to go ahead and want to support me no matter what it is. Whether it's jumping on live prayer and talking about my music, and like whenever I put like, hey, I got something dropping, it's like, no, it's like they're just super supportive, and it's like it's different, and it's not only just within CHH, it's outside. And that's really like a really big thing for me too, because I'm not gonna lie, we're such a very small but very forceful space.
Yeah.
But at times, like, you get stuck here,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like you start to feel like, yeah, bro, like this, that, and the third, like this is it. And it's like, no, like there are more people out there that need to hear the gospel that you carry too. And that's initially, like, I feel like I know that's where God is taking me. Might not be in the way that I imagined it,
Mm-hmm.
but like just being able to have the opportunity to perform in mainstream events, knowing that I'm a Christian who makes, music that is it's not gonna be no ifs and buts that God is in it.
Yeah.
It's there. It's evident.
Mm-hmm.
But like also like having those people that it's like, yo, like I genuinely just want to help you. Like people that's like up there and they're like, yo, like I just want to help you. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, but why? Like what? I
Yeah.
don't even know. You don't even know me. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, God,
That's
it's
God.
like, don't worry how this don't. I don't need to make sense. That's it. And that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to teach myself. Like I don't need to make sense. Um, but that's more or less, I guess, how I would say is very evident in my life is just seeing the connections and the family. Because aside from like being able to be connected to certain people, musically, it's like we've been able to create a family.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like we look out for each other, pray for each other, we keep each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And when we need help, it's like, hey, bro, like you need help. Is then the third? How can I help you? Whether it's feedback, criticism, whatever it may be. And it's just like, all right, dope, boom, and keep it moving. Like people don't understand. I was so nervous to present separation anxiety to the world. I was so nervous.
I'm sure that video is dope though.
I was even like scared to present that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was scared of that. I was like, yo, like I got alcohol in this video. I was like, it may be too real for some people. But I was like, God, that's what we need. We need
Yeah.
more. I need to show people. And it's like, if I got to be an example, if I got to be the black sheep every now and then, because it's like, whatever it may be, it's just like, so be it. Like,
Yeah.
I just want people to know that I'm not perfect. This is you. It's all you. And I just want to be happy where if in the event you ever told me to step down from music, that I'd be content in knowing that I still have you. And whatever we got going on, we keep it moving. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a very hard thing for me to say to God, because I'm like, I don't know about all that. Like, if I don't do music, what I'm gonna do? Let me know. But as far as musically, it's like he's allowed me to see, like, I don't even have to know these people.
Yeah.
It's like he's already spoken my name to somebody, and just within the timing, just makes it come to pass. And that's initially how I'm able to see his glory. And I'm like, God, it had to be you, because it wasn't me. It was definitely wasn't me. I remember the last time I said this was all me. I promise.
Right on. Okay. And now that you've completed the interview, who would you like to see me interview? Whose testimony would you like to hear?
Hmm. Dang, I got a lot of friends. It's like I'm assuming you probably already did Portia.
Yeah, she was about this season. I just talked to her this past weekend.
Me too. That's some checked up on me, and she had called me and stuff. Shout out to Portia, my sis, man. Dang. Hmm. Who would I want? I'm trying to think out of all the people you haven't interviewed already. I would really like, well, even though he doesn't really like classify himself as like a Christian, does it have to be a Christian artist?
I mean, as long as they're not.
No, his content is not like
Yeah.
out there. It's he just doesn't like putting himself in the box of Christian artists.
That's cool. As long as he's not like booty, 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 booty everywhere.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. Dang, bro.
What's
Hmm.
I put me on game. I like learning about and discovering new artists because I feel old. So a
Yeah,
lot.
I feel that. I be feeling old too. I'm like, who, and who? What? Who is this? I do not know who this person is. All right, so I got a few people, but if I had to choose one, probably be my brother Made. So his Instagram is Made Music. So initially, like I met him almost a year and a half ago,
Okay.
and he does music, he does film, he does photography, he does engineering,
Oh, it is everything.
he does everything. He's got a wife, he's got a daughter. Like, man loves God,
Okay.
loves God, and just like I said, he doesn't classify himself as a Christian hip hop artist, but he will classify himself as a Christian man who loves the Lord and will, bring glory to the music that he puts out. He doesn't go out of pocket with it.
Mm-hmm.
Very much transparent. He dropped a song that it was called Crossroads not too long ago, and basically like the video itself, I actually got to help him. Like I co-directed it. Like I got to film some stuff for him. It was pretty
Okay.
cool. My first time behind the lens.
Nice.
But for the
Congrats.
most part, like he talks about like how he had that moment with God, like his coming to Jesus moment where it's like, yo, God, I don't want to go back to that person I used to
Mm-hmm.
be. Like, this is what I want. I want to chase you, and I want to help those around me. And yeah, like I said, like he doesn't have a lot of music that's out there, but as far as what he's put out in recent time, like man just has a super great testimony. He's been in a lot of different spaces where he's worked with the mainstream artists that that are out there that we
Yeah.
listen to on the radio and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And he's got such a humble spirit, bro. And it's just like, I'm lucky to like know him. I'm lucky to have the bond that I have with him, his wife, and his daughter. Like, me personally, it's like I be telling him all the time, like, bro, you don't give yourself enough credit. Like, you really don't.
Yeah.
But I understand it's because he's too busy like trying to lift up others. And I think that's beautiful because not a lot of people have that quality.
Yeah. No, they don't. And you do
So
a great job at big upping and talking about other people. So
listen, that's why I'm like, God, you gotta surround me with people that we can do that for each other,
yeah.
because if you just got somebody soaking up everything and they're not reciprocating, at that point it's just like you just having the life sucked out of you. So, you know. But that's most definitely one person. Like I said, I got a bunch of people in mind that they have a very much more extensive catalog. But it's like when I think about it, I'm just like that boy right there. Cause at the end of the day, he loves to be behind the scenes. And I'm like, bro, it's like, I'm telling you, it's like given the opportunity, I'm gonna let people know about you, no matter what.
Yeah.
He hates it because he be like, yo, I'm just your brother. That's it. Like I'm just your friend. I'm like, no, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. Come on now.
Yeah.
But I think that's just, you need those people in your corner that let you know,
Real.
like, hey, bro, like, you a big deal. Like, remember that.
For real.
So
All right. Well, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me and doing it after work hours and
no,
late.
not a problem. I was like, thank you again, for one, setting this up, reaching out. Granted, it would have been dope if I would have been able to meet you at Holy Smoke, but hey, it is what it is.
It's all good. Yeah. I mean, you said you come to Atlanta a lot, so one of the events,
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll run into each other in person, and I will make it a point
yeah.
to be like,
That's
hey.
what I said. Like, so it's not like I'm not going to end up in Atlanta again. Granted, that's a CHH hub right
Yeah.
now. So chances are I'll be back there again. But for the most part, I do want to thank you for taking the time, because one, the same way I put the time aside for live prayers, it does take time to put aside for an interview, and just, being able to put out the questions, the breakdowns, and then even your editing process that you're going to do. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing yourself to be a vessel so that other people can be able to hear the stories of the artists within the community, without, with out on the outskirts of our community.
Yeah.
It takes a special person with a special heart, because not everybody got the patience to do that.
Oh.
I don't got the patience to do that.
Thank you. I
I
appreciate that.
thought, like, I don't got the patience to do that. But I will pray for some people, but I ain't got the
I
patience to do all
appreciate
this.
it, definitely. And I appreciate people who make their appointments, because that's when it makes it challenging. When those like who don't make the the interview
Listen,
time and
bro,
then you
when
never
you
hear from
told
them.
me, I was like, okay. It's like, let me figure out what day I can actually like put this together.
No, I
This,
mean
that,
if
and the
you put
third.
down if you schedule something, just show up or say that you can't. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna just leave it at
There you
that.
go. Facts. Like, honestly, I didn't even know if I was gonna make it on time, because I had to go to Walmart and put gas in my car before I even got home. So I'm
Okay.
like, yo, I was like, oh my god, like, if I'm not home by this time, like 6:40 at latest, I was like, I'm gonna let her know I'm gonna be just a little late, because it's right
Which
around
is
the corner
fine.
from my
That's
house.
all good.
But I
Communication.
was a lot of people don't know that. You feel
Yes.
me? Our generation, we know that.
Yes.
This one right here just locked themselves up in a room. No one cares about me.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, just call somebody. Hey, bro, I'm feeling the type of way. I
Exactly.
don't know what you feel. You don't tell me.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the Lord put you on my heart, but that's a whole different subject.
Yes.
But again, thank you for making the time to talk to me, getting to know my testimony, and just everything as a whole. Honestly, this was great, because it really did allow me to go even take a moment to reflect. And I'll be honest, that's something I don't do too much.
All
I
right.
get so caught up in the moment and what's going on, and talking to you and you asking me the questions and stuff like that. Like, it really did make me see, like, dang, like, God has brought me through a lot. And it seems like it wasn't nothing, but I was like, no, bro, it was everything.
For real.
Like,
It
I'm
was.
here because of this.
Yeah.
So thank you again. And for the most part, let me know when it's up so I can go ahead and share it.
For real.
Um,
I will, and please do. Hey, what's up? Thank you. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for watching the show. However you consume us, thank you. Please subscribe to the show. And if you really enjoy the content, please leave a review. It really does help with the ranking of the show. And if you want to go an extra mile, share the show, share this episode. And for all things testimony, visit testimonystories.com. Until next time, I'm Gilika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music.